No Cappin podcast, where we bring to you the lifestyle, the insight and the culture alongside some wavy special guests whilst we sip on a bit of Havana Club. You know the vibes. Come join me. What's going on? What's cracking? What is happening? I go by the name of Capo. You know the vibes. We are in the building. Another episode of No Cappin. Big up to every single person that's been interacting. I'm excited for this one. I'm very, very, very excited for this one. I've got two lovely, lovely special guests in the building. Do you guys want to introduce yourself? Should I do it? Which one would you prefer?
I can do it.
Alright, go on.
Will we both just...
Spit your bars, man. Spit your bars.
Oh, gosh.
If it's sick, I'll give you a wheeler. I'll give you a money pull up if it's proper sick as well.
No, that's too much pressure.
You sure?
That's too much pressure.
You ain't trying to get paid.
My name is Chanté. I am a writer, a presenter. What do I even say about myself? I'm so bad at this. I'm a journalist. I do lots of stuff. I'm currently working on my first book, which is about the Black British Power movement. And I have a series with Channel 4 called How Not to Be Racist. And we are currently working on the second season of the show, which is really exciting. That
was a bad boy season, I can't lie to you.
Thank you.
I think that's the first time.
I enjoyed that so much.
I feel like as if you just got literally every experience just out.
It was good.
And man,
it's a lot of fun.
Second person?
I'm Tazer Black. I do a couple of things, but the main thing is I'm a third of the award-winning podcast 3 Shots Tequila, and then I'm also co-director of an events company called Faded.
Jeez. Tazer well known for, making dark skin look cool since 2009, 10 pretty much. Before we do go further, you guys all good? Everyone Gucci?
Yeah.
One thing we always do before we do start is we always have to do a shot. We always have to do a shot here. No one drove here, right?
I'm surprised like I haven't.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little celebration shot.
All right, cool. What are we celebrating?
Fabulous.
Life. Freedom.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Oh, wait, you have to do eye contact or bad luck?
What, as I take the shot as well?
No, as you cheers.
Okay, cool.
I was about to say, cheers. Cheers.
Yeah, you got to do it. Otherwise, it's bad luck.
That's all, man.
Google it. Woo, my bad.
All right, cool. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Big shot.
I lie?
I was not involved in that still. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a double, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's definitely not a single.
Nah, I'm not looking at the person who done that still, who's responsible for it. Briefly, you did mention about lockdown.
Yeah.
I feel like as if this is like the beginning of the end and things are actually open.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this one thing I want to discuss with you guys. I went out on Sunday. I don't know if you guys were there as well for Henry's birthday.
Yeah, I was there.
Big up Henry. Sick event. Social anxiety whoops my ass, man. I can't lie to you. I don't think I can do this partying thing anymore, I was proper struggling. Like, I remember it came a point where the rhythms are being played, like like bangers. I'm just standing there. I'm literally just like what Tazer's doing. I'm stroking my beard, just sitting there, chilling, trying to nod my head, and I was like, I don't even know how to dance anymore, bruv. I feel like I need a tutorial on how to party again and how to socialise. Everyone was jumping up and down and all sorts, and I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Have you guys been thrown in the same predicaments, or have you had that little glimpse of partying yet?
For me, it was the first lockdown. We kind of came out for a little bit during summer.
That tease.
That's when I had that, because I had events where people were coming in just getting drunk from like the first hour, like past normal drunk. Like this is like I'm white girl wasted. I'm like already, but it's because they've been in lockdown for so long. They're just so, and that was kind of when you had to wear your mask still, stay at your table. So I'm having to walk around and tell people, listen, excuse me, can you still sit down? Yeah, it was long, it was hard, but coming from an events background, I do hear what you're saying, and I think it's going to take a while.
Yeah,
it's going to just take a while, because I had an event on Saturday and people were enjoying.
Do you still have to wear your mask whilst?
No.
So wait, hold on. So at the first event that you said that you had in like last summer, I believe, you had to wear your mask whilst partying. Yeah,
you had to wear your mask whilst moving around the venue and at your table.
Tables of six, right?
Table of 4 or 6.
Yeah.
You could only really remove your mask if you're about to drink your drink.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, every place I've been to though, you still maybe it's just because I'm used to it now, but when I leave my space to, go to the toilet and stuff, I always put on my mask. Sorry, I'm not talking into the mic. So I just feel like I just do that anyway now. But
but you don't have to now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, some venues will ask you to, but and it will be like in the terms and conditions. But if you actually do it, they're not gonna get onto you. I went into the shop today with no mask, not because I wanted to. I just didn't take my mask out my car. The guy looked at me and was just like, "All right, cool." But I know that if this was like 9 months ago, it would have been like, "Hey, go get your mask."
Get one,
So,
Do they hand them out to you in the events or?
Nah, bring your own.
You have to bring your own. And even with that, I feel like as if because we know this mask thing is for life now. To be fair, pretty much.
Yeah.
We know
I
this
mean,
is
I'll
gonna
still
be
be wearing masks on public transport. Actually.
Exactly.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think I will.
I can't lie. I think I will still.
Oh,
Because also it's a good way to also like just if you want to cut through somewhere real quick, just slap on your mask. No one knows it's you.
I mean, there's that
in that sense. Okay, cool. I see what you're saying. The
You look
social
like a drill
anxiety thing.
rapper. Yeah, you could look like a drill rapper. Just cut through real quick, in and out. But it's the issue of what type of mask to get. Like, do I get a drippy one? Because I've seen people with like the LV ones. Like with the.
Well, if you're really concerned about COVID,
You don't want to be spotted.
what I'm saying is, if you want to be concerned about COVID, then your mask should technically be a PPE one, no?
Yeah.
The LV
All
mask
ones that have the little filters in it and stuff like
the
that.
LV mask is not stopping
The
you
LV
from
one has got
contracting
the
COVID.
filter inside it, I think.
Oh, does it?
I think so.
Okay.
No,
I don't have it. I don't have it.
It doesn't.
I don't have it.
That's just leather on your face.
It's not even an actual thing though, is it? It's that someone who customizes it and makes it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Besides from that, how have you found it with like post-lockdown?
I've been gagging for outside. Like I have been dying to out. So like Henry Swing was so good.
Yeah.
I remember I went to I think like Julia Denuga did like a friends and family viewing of Catfish, and I just like came along with someone who was invited, and like that was kind of my first out experience, and I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, this is crazy. And I think now I'm just like, any single thing someone invites me to, I go. Seriously. Like someone just has to send a link, I'll just buy tickets. A few times I've bought tickets for events that are on the same day because I'm just so much like, I'm just ready to be outside. Because I just feel like before I was so, I don't know, I just never really wanted to go out that much. I was very much like, oh, I'll just stay at home, oh, next time, I can't be bothered. And I think being in lockdown all that time made me realise that, gosh, I'd kind of like isolated myself from so many people and from so many great experiences for no good reason, really. And so I feel like now I'm really motivated to just like go out and meet people and have a good time. Like literally in 2 weeks, I'm going to like Lisbon for a month just to go. Like all the work I do from a laptop anyway. So I can do all that stuff from abroad, like unless it's filming, and I can come back for that. But I'm really just trying to live and experience, because I just feel like lockdown made me realize how much I denied myself from doing and I didn't have a good reason for it. Didn't want to, and I don't know how much of that is a good reason all the time.
I feel like to some extent I definitely do agree with you on that. It's just hard though sometimes, man, because sometimes you just take the risk of going to somewhere and you think this may not potentially bang. I remember the last few times I went raving before lockdown, and the best part of the night was the journey back home and going Bagel King. Was literally, going Bagel King. That was the best part of it. Or the post-rave shower, going in, like, chilling, putting the Netflix on to sleep. That was my highlight of the night. Like, honestly, I just found it so bad. And it's like, with people throwing stuff out, and I'm like, not yet.
The social stuff is hard, though. I've noticed that, like, I don't know, in social situations, I feel a bit more, like, anxious now in a way that I wouldn't be before. Like I feel like a year of being inside and only being around like friends or like family, I don't know, I just find it so weird, or not friends but like flatmates and family, that like picking up social cues and reading people and stuff like that, I'm like, it's just, it is really weird. And I like it so weird. I wrote an article for the Evening Standard about basically like people in their 20s and their early teens who feel like they've like lost their best years essentially to the virus. And one thing that came up a lot, I don't know why I'm telling the story, but whatever, might as well finish. One thing that came up a lot is that a lot of people in their like 20s and their teens that have things like ADHD and autism, they spent years and years of their lives learning how to communicate with people. Then they went into lockdown 3.5, and then they came back out and they couldn't speak to people because they'd lost all that practice. So like that social thing is a huge issue for a lot of people who've been in lockdown for a year.
Definitely makes sense.
Detour.
I think you just got to ease into it. Slowly, like take it at your own pace. Even if you come and it's like you only want to be there for an hour, do that. Just try it, because eventually we're all going to be out. Like, you don't want to be the one that's like lost, because what's gonna happen is, even when they did that, you remember when they introduced the curfew?
Of course.
10 p.m.
So 10 p.m. Shoreditch Oh my god!
I heard it was popping. Like after 10 p.m, the strip was
It
crazy.
didn't make sense. It didn't make sense how many
Yeah.
people were out. And when I say drunk off their faces at 10 p.m, no one knows how they're getting home. People are just sitting on the road like, it's only 10 o'clock. I'm not getting home.
Yeah.
Police are having to like, can everyone go home? It's like, why?
Yeah.
This is what you not
Exactly.
make curfew. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's what's going to happen again once we're. I think we've this June the
21st, yeah.
Yeah.
Or has it been delayed again?
You can't predict anything. And this is why I'm like, I just need to be out all the time. I need to do all the things that I said I wanted to do because I have no idea what's coming up next.
Yeah.
And I think that fear is in me right now. So
When you're looking through your 2020 pictures and seeing there was just nothing.
nothing, just indoors,
Just
Indoors,
selfies.
bunch of Instagram lives and tweets.
Do you know what though?
screaming on Clubhouse, yelling.
Yo, shout out those who done that.
No.
Respect.
That was my lowest moment. I can't lie. I was embarrassed. I hate
But you
even
know
think
what?
about
At the
it.
time, it was I can't lie to you. Clubhouse was entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. It was.
There was
bad.
that period where it was.
toxic.
Yeah,
but it was
yeah,
entertaining.
yeah. There was
But
that
people
period.
are going. I'm like, you lot are gonna meet in Boxpark at one day. You know?
Yeah.
How are you shouting like this?
I swear you're underscore finest streams underscore.
Mate, it
People
was
were
when
angry, you know.
it was when all the 21-year-olds were like having their like 21-year-old beef and stuff like that, and I was just listening like, oh my god, this is so entertaining. Like, this is what the kids are arguing about these days.
We're bad for egging them on.
I know.
We're bad. I like it. Continue.
What are they called? Planting Twitter? Is that what they call them?
Yeah, literally, yeah. The Gen Z lot, the electric scooter dons. Like,
They see life different, man.
They don't care. They're so reckless.
They were literally trying to square up on Clubhouse, you know. I'm thinking someone's parent must have walked into the room and asked questions.
You're just shouting by yourself.
Shouting. You're
Down the
making
phone.
noise.
I had to put my phone on charge.
Yo, pick up Dev, man. But one thing before we do get things popping, we always like to ask like a random question from the cup. If you look on the table right in the middle, you'll see like a cup with random papers in there. One of you guys want to
Ladies
go
first.
through?
Oh, but you're closer to it.
Right, do you want me to hand you one as well?
Oh, we have one each. I thought we answered the same one.
Oh, we can start with the same
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
start
okay,
with one,
okay.
yeah.
Alright, let me-
Okay, then grab two.
Let me kind of dig in. Okay, there's one.
Thank you.
No.
If it's peak, I did not write that shit, respectfully. I'm judging off of reaction of who gives a... Alright, Tazer's given a reaction.
Yeah,
Shows
what's
a
yours?
bit of a
This is a good
juicy
question.
one.
This is a good question. Oh, shall I read it out?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, does likability play a part on whether someone is cancelled or not?
Shoot then.
Do we answer it?
Of course.
100%.
Yeah, I
100%.
It does.
100%. That's why some people, you know, they do something, their career goes up in flames. Others, they are forgiven.
Do you know what? It's funny enough that you mentioned that. I just briefly want to touch on this because I was having a conversation in a barbershop about this earlier on today, and was talking about people that are artists or people that have been cancelled. And I said to them, look, if it's an artist that I personally like, I'm going to justify that shit to some extent, unless it's something that's completely fuckery that they've done. So there was like, all right, prime example would be Michael Jackson. I was like, Michael Jackson, bruv, he made Thriller. He made Off the Wall. Like, I'm gonna justify that shit. As much as I may not have a concrete evidence and stuff like that because of the likability. Whereas if it was an artist that, I don't know, I'm not really that interested in, that they could do the slightest of things, and if everyone says we're cancelling them, I'm like, all right, fair enough. It is what it is. You feel me? And I don't know, I just feel like the likability plays a major factor into it. So if you are a fan of someone, or you like their work, or you have, I don't know, let's say a personal memory or moment to that person's work, you may find yourself subconsciously justifying the shit that they might have done.
I wouldn't even go that. Yeah, I agree with you, but another artist I would say, I don't know if I can say his name. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. R&B, king of R&B.
Yeah.
Cool. So with him, I don't justify what he's done, but he's the one example that I would use where I could say I could separate the art from the person.
Yeah.
Because the art is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard.
Is about what he was like as a person. Do you know what I mean?
Which is why I said it's hard. So I personally think twice when listening to his music now, because it's like, it's actually facts what he's done. Like you said, with Michael Jackson, it's still up in the air whether it's true or not. With him, it's facts.
Yeah.
But the art is...
I mean, step in the name of love.
This is what I'm saying. So
Step in the name of love.
But I can honestly say this year I haven't listened to his music.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to his music. But if I walked into a room and someone was playing his music, I wouldn't be like, turn that off.
Yeah.
But do you think it's not a conversation about likability, it's a conversation about legacy and impact? If somebody has had a huge impact on Black weddings, Black christenings, like their songs have been played, we associate them so much with significant cultural events because they have such a legacy, then of course it becomes really difficult to say I can no longer associate with that person. And I don't think it's because they are likable. I think it's just because we associate their art with our happiest moments. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I wonder if it's more that. But then on the flip side, yes, I think likability is also an issue. But with these huge legacy artists, you know, your Michael Jackson, your He Who Shall Not Be Named, you know, they have they are associated to so many memories in our lives. Their music kind of lives on throughout generations. They still inspire people. So that's why it's really difficult to be like, oh, I can't deal with this person.
Who can we say that recently has just been cancelled?
Octavian.
I don't even care about him in any way. So when
I mean, I don't either.
When everyone said cancel him, I was like, yeah, cool.
Fair enough.
Like, when I done a little research as to what the crime was, like, yeah, cool. I don't really care. I'm not really bothered.
Yeah.
But that one's, I get the crime. Everyone can agree. That's
facts.
Yeah.
So I mean, that no one's gonna be like, well, but that's
but people still do though. You see, like even with like R. Kelly, like the way people were protesting outside court, protesting outside prison, like free him. Do you know what I mean? Like people always make excuses.
A lot of them are women as well.
Yeah,
that's
no, they were.
The women paying his bail to get him out.
Yeah.
That's mad. You know?
But you know why this is why I say this guy's the greatest ever. Yeah, Dave Chappelle, because he's got a joke. Yeah. Well, it's not really a joke. Let's say he's just kind of like a story. You know the way he tells his jokes. He said something along the lines of when women started the Me Too movement, he said he was for it, but he said the way that they were kind of going about it is going to be very, very problematic because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So these women know what R. Kelly done was wrong. I said his name.
Yeah.
Well, wrong. It's wrong. But because they themselves weren't the ones that were chosen, it's not a problem.
Yes.
And that's another thing that I don't like about the whole cancel culture.
It's very selective.
Yeah. It's very selective.
But women aren't monolith though. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. People always make excuses for abusers, women or men. And it just so happens that with the Me Too movement, it was about, you know, I guess creative industries or acting and sexual assault and acting, and those who came out were mainly women. But people like Terry Crews had also been sexually assaulted. Like he was a huge part of the Me Too movement, but you know, men also will discredit sexual assault. So it's like, I don't know, I think with like these huge sort of movements, I don't know, I think it doesn't make sense to say, well, other women support it, but like black people are Labour, black people are Conservative. Like, do you know what I mean? Like people can, I guess, well, groups of people can hold two ideas at the same time because we're not all the same. You know what I mean?
No, but I agree with you. But what I'm saying is because of that is why it's hard for this cancel culture to survive, because that same person that you're trying to cancel might have an idea that I agree with. Yeah. Is what I'm saying.
Do you know what? I think it's hard though, because in a weird way, like, I don't know if cancel culture even exists. I think even when we think about like the history of like, I guess, cancel culture or like political correctness, a lot of it stems from like liberal arts colleges in the US and like essentially this fear that, you know, if we teach people about these like liberal ideas, then, you know, that this essentially it was about like conservatism, and it was about this idea that, you know, how can we have conservatism in society if people believe these liberal things or people are too scared to say things? And so much of like, there's a brilliant podcast called, I can't remember the name, but I'll find it, I'll send it to you and you can link it. But they basically chart this entire history and how it was essentially just a bunch of like people on the right being like, I tried to teach this thing and I said this wrong word and people were really angry at me, but then when you actually dig into the truth of it, none of that stuff happened. And I think a lot of it is the same with cancel culture. If you look at people like J.K. Rowling, who's been extremely, extremely transphobic, they're still making Harry Potter games, Harry Potter cups, Harry Potter Crocs, Harry Potter everything. She's got a whole new kids book coming out. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's got a play flipping on the West End, like, and she claims to have been cancelled. You know, she got all of those writers to sign a letter saying, you know, I've been cancelled and life is so horrible for me. Okay, but you're still a billionaire. Yeah, you're still a millionaire. You know, you're still making huge bank off this franchise. And as much as people will be like, I'm not reading Harry Potter anymore, other people are. And that's why she can make money from it. So as much as she claims to have been cancelled, has she really been cancelled? And does anyone really get cancelled? Do you know what I mean?
I see what you mean.
I think there's been some extreme measures where some people have been like X'd out, whereas there's some people where, as you said, they may be not of popular the masses may not mess with them anymore, but behind closed doors, there's people that are still listening or supporting them by any means necessary. Prime example is being Donny, that was mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to hear him in a rave.
You say that now.
You think?
Someone will play him. It's just a matter of how everyone responds to it. If someone plays Wonderful, you're in the corner like, oh, snap.
Yeah, it's true. Don't watch me.
Get caught on anyone's Instagram story.
And or it could go left where everyone just stones the DJ. Like, hey, what are you doing? It could, do you know what I mean? But someone's going to try it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's even a UK rapper that I don't want to say his name, but I feel like someone's going to play his song. Because he's got banging songs.
Yeah.
But the crime he allegedly committed, some people might not be like, nah, it's not true. So they might still play his song.
Yeah. I don't think most DJs will be going to Holland anytime soon, to be fair.
I have a question though. With the person you just mentioned, is that being cancelled or is that being held accountable? Because I sometimes feel like we equate the two things. Like you being convicted of a crime through the courts. Obviously, I know the criminal justice system is not perfect, and I'm not saying that the courts always get it right or whatever. But in this case, like the evidence is there. You've been convicted. People don't want to play your music anymore. Are you being held accountable for your actions, or are you being cancelled? Because I don't know if they are interchangeable, because I sometimes feel like accountability is a heavy word here, whereas cancellation feels a bit trivial. Do you know what I mean?
I think, again, it's a very subjective thing. When you say held accountable for their actions, there are rappers that have been known to have taken someone's life and they still get played casually. That these guys are glorified murderers. You know, I'm not just going to say rappers. Let me not single it to them. It's just artists in general. You know, some rock artists that have promoted cannibalism and the most macabre and maddest of things, but yet they're still celebrated. I think it's down towards people's morals. And I think now, in the day and age that we're in, there's no rules, just morals. And if it doesn't affect... Originally, as sad as it is, I would have put women in this category. But now it seems like if it doesn't affect children or old people, you're fine.
Do you think?
It's not me saying I agree. Hey, guys, don't try to cancel me. I've got bills that need to be paid.
You're just saying what you can see.
I'm saying in general of what I see. Originally, it used to be women, children, and old people. But now, as sad as it is, we've seen examples where people have abused women. And they're still celebrated till this day. Yeah,
I mean, look at Chris Brown, for crying out loud.
Didn't want to say it, but you know, it's there.
I mean, and those images are harrowing. Like, it's weird. And his music still gets played. And
I was rattled. I can't lie. When I first saw them pictures, I was like, what?
But it's just weird how you can jump back from that. And I don't know, I'm so conflicted when I think about even like cancel culture and who gets forgiven and who doesn't. Because even America aside, in the context of Britain, when we look at somebody who messes up in Britain, if it is like, you know, a white presenter does or says or whatever, like, you know, they may give a, you know, measly apology or whatever, and then it's kind of, it's gone. But do black people get that same grace that white people get? And I don't think they do, because there have been instances where like a black person and a white person have both been guilty of some ism of some sort, and one gets the redemption route, you know, they say I'm sorry, blah blah blah, and one loses all of their jobs and loses everything. And I've seen this firsthand with people I know, and it is really, really upsetting. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like talking about cancel culture and cancelling, it just feels so trivial, because particularly if you're a marginalized person and that grace isn't extended to you, and you do face all the repercussions of your actions, even if you do apologize, like it is so damaging. Like, you can lose everything, and to see someone lose everything that you know overnight, how do you even support someone through that?
For all the years that you've been building something
and the
up.
funny thing is, to add on to that, you being seen as supporting that person, you could potentially get cancelled.
Where it's like you're guilty by association.
That's your friend. Why didn't you say something? Oh my days.
But maybe a thing of, I'm not skilled enough to talk on this, firstly, and secondly, I don't know what's going on. I found out the same way you found out.
It's hard. And I remember when it happened to my friend, and I remember tweeting, because I just was so angry about what I had seen. And like, so essentially she kind of got like some of her old tweets were uncovered, and like there was like some anti-Semitic stuff in it, and she apologized profusely. She spoke to like the board of deputies and friends and released a brilliant statement, took complete accountability, was just so like she really owned it. And I think it was the best sort of apology you could ever get. Like a lot of white people in media will be incredibly racist and awful, and they will be like, oh, sorry if you felt that way, and they'll continue to live their life unscathed. But I just saw like everything unravel, and I had to say something, because I was like, she is doing the absolute most that she can, and yet there are people who've done far worse, who've been able to excel in their careers. And how much is tearing someone down for something that they did years and years ago less about the action itself and more about who they are and the identities that they occupy? A dark-skinned black woman being completely dragged, like in a way, for something that other people have done, and they're still on TV having the time of their lives. It's not making any sense, you know? And yeah, it's harrowing to see, and it's not nice. And it kind of just feels like when we talk about cancel culture, a lot of the time it's quite middle-class, wealthy, high-profile white people who say something completely outlandish, and it's like, oh, everyone's cancelling me because people on Twitter disagree, but they still get to live their life. But the people who are actually being cancelled, they lose everything. They lose everything.
That's a fact. I remember prime examples. Remember Cheryl Cole. A lot of people forget when she beat up Auntie.
Listen, I will never let her forget, you know. She can tweet, I'm having eggs for breakfast, and I'll be like, why did you beat up that woman in the toilet?
You laid hands on Auntie, and you know.
I said Auntie, you know.
To this day, I can't lie. The community, the congregation, we ain't happy with that one. Like, and it seemed like nothing has happened on that of anything, but we could do the most slightest of things. And another thing I would throw out there is, I think the cancel culture, sometimes I think it works hand in hand with people's insecurities. So, for example, if I was to see like either one of you two, I've seen that you've been able to build amazing platforms and do well for yourself as individuals. I may be a hater. I may be Harry the hater and see that you've gone so well and you've said something out of ignorance in your younger years. Now I want to condemn you for it. One, you can't hold me accountable for something I said many, many years ago when I was ignorant. I'm a complete different person. And secondly, I'm doing that from a place of hate, not doing it from a place of anger of what you said. I just hate what you've achieved. So I think that works.
There's a lot of that as well.
I think that works hand in hand with it as well, where the insecure side of it.
Yeah, taking 12-year-olds' tweets and being like, why'd you say this thing? I'm just like, oh, come on. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was lots of weird stuff that I was saying back in the days, like that, like now would look weird, but at the time in the school I went to, in the area I grew up in, like it wasn't really that much of a big deal. Fair. And but I think, there are some things where if you were a grown-ass adult or whatever, then fair enough. But like, if I'm 12 years old, like, why the hell does what I said then matter? I'm now 25.
No, but I wouldn't even just say the age. I'd say the time as well. Because even there was a period during lockdown when Amazon Prime Video put up Def Comedy Jam, the whole season. I think season 1 to 8. And I'm watching these jokes. Obviously, my favorite comedians who are like mad celebrities now, but at the time, this is like their first show. Some of the stuff they were saying, I'm like,
it's mad.
Yo, but it was the time. Like at that time, those things could fly and it was fine. But they couldn't say that now. And even they will probably say, bro, I can't believe I know, I wouldn't expect them to sit down and say, I can't believe I said that in the late 80s. No, I expect you to say that because that's what you went through at the time. It wouldn't make sense now because it's now. But if I'm watching old content, I can't hold you accountable for what you said or what you experienced 30 years ago or 20 years ago. That's what you felt or saw at the time.
And what's socially acceptable.
Yeah.
But that's a different conversation though, don't you think? Because did you see that quote? I remember seeing like a quote from Seth Rogen when he was just like, do you know what? I think it's important for comedians to acknowledge that some jokes just don't age well. So instead of like fighting your hardest to be like, no, like this joke is funny, just be like, it was a joke at the time and it worked at the time, but now in this new world, it's not funny anymore.
100%.
So let's just write new jokes. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes I feel like, particularly with comedians, there's this willingness to hold on to and defend those old offensive jokes where it's like, why can't we just admit like they're off key, so let's just write new jokes. Do you know what I mean?
I just feel like it's because time is moving fast now, a lot more quickly, and it's moving a lot. Like I could say something today that's offensive tomorrow.
Yeah, if I was to
all of a sudden everyone agrees that what I said today is offensive.
If I was to tweet now saying I don't like white socks, there's a community that will feel offended by it.
Haven't you seen what's it called? Mo's story. So he's announced that he's doing the O2.
Yeah,
and it's called the Black.
For that, yeah.
Okay, so it's called the Black British Takeover. Yeah. White people are angry. What? Listen, look, watch his Instagram story.
Yeah,
the amount of DMs he's getting from white people saying, "Why would you put Black British? Why can't you just put British?" And he's just responding, laughing.
Yeah.
He's just like, big man. All the comedians are going to be black anyway. I don't understand what you're. Like, I don't understand why.
That is so crazy.
Listen, they are giving it to him, and some comedians will be like, "Okay, you know what? Phone up the agent and be like, let's
Throw one.
Nah, he's standing strong, and I rate that because I don't understand. Why can't I accept my people?
Exactly.
Someone even said, "Are white people allowed to go?"
Oh,
That's how.
No, you're not allowed. Stay at your house. Stay at your house.
Because it says the Black British Takeover. They're like, what? So can white people attend?
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man. But this is mad. This is 2021. You're still asking those questions.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When did we get to a point of where it was mad sensitive?
But I don't know if it's sensitivity. I think when it comes to, this is the thing, right? When we think about cancel culture, and I kind of talk about it particularly in the British like media realm, right? A lot of the time it's like, this is a marginalized group, Black people, disabled people, wherever. Yeah. Some person, normally a person with kind of privilege and status, says something or writes something or does something that is basically aimed at that group, and this group gets angry about it, and then the person who is in a position of privilege is like, I'm being cancelled because they don't like what I have to say. Do you know what I mean? Like, cancel culture has never really worked in the reverse. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the time it happens because marginalized groups are now much more empowered, and it's less socially acceptable to dunk on little people, and now these same people have, like, you know, clout or social capital or whatever you want to call it, or platforms of themselves. Remember, like, social media, so many of us, like, who am I? I'm no one, but I've built a following for myself. I'm not special. I'm not important. I'm not anything different than anyone else, but I'm just a individual, a Black woman who's built a platform for herself. So now if someone tries to say, oh, Black women are this, I now have 60,000 people who I can be like, this person said Black women, this is factually untrue, and they could get upset about it and defend me. Whereas before, people would be like saying this about marginalized groups or that about marginalized groups, and we had nothing to defend ourselves with. And so now that we can, now everyone was like, oh, that's cancel culture. But is it though, or are we just sick of it now? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's groups becoming empowered to defend themselves in ways that they couldn't before. So people are now getting backlash for things that they could say before that no one really cared about. You know?
Definitely makes sense. Have you guys ever found yourself pressured to have to stick up for something you may not have been knowledgeable about, or seen as having to be the spokesperson for something of, I don't know, something that may have happened online? So say, for instance, if someone spoke negatively about, I don't know, Black men from Northwest London or Black women in general or something like that, has someone DM'd you and said, have you seen this? You need to speak about it.
All the time. But I don't feel pressured into speaking about it, because for me, I'm more concerned about my social circle, my immediate social circle, and what they think about me. I can't care about what Dave from Shropshire cares about me all the time, man. And he's just trying to trigger me. Do you know what I mean? I've been getting hate DMs for years.
Seriously?
Bro, they go to the extent of even dissing my daughter. But I can't get mad. What am I going to do about that? I can't throw it up on my story just to get attention. That's not me. But it happens. Just leave it. Just ignore it. Because if you see me face to face, you're not going to give me the same energy. And half the time, you don't even know who's saying it anyway. A lot of people just hiding behind random accounts. Like, I can't wait till the day they say, you know what, in order to open up this profile, you need to send your ID. All of this online abuse would drop. Because I don't do stuff like that. I'm not in the comments dissing someone. If I don't like something that you've done, if I know you, I'll reach out to you privately. I'm not about dragging someone publicly. I'll reach out to you privately, and if my thoughts are important, you'll take it on board. If not, then who am I? Like, she could do something tomorrow. Who am I to her to tell her, by the way, I don't think what you done was. She could be like, F off, who are you? No, but it's true, and she has every right to say that. So when someone who's anonymous is trying to get everybody to jump on the bandwagon to do it, I think that's why they do it. So it becomes a thing. Because even there's certain things that you know is wrong, and you know you could just call out that one person, of course, but it's not enough for just you. I need everybody. So guys, I'm going to do a thread. Can you not retweet this, please? We need this to go viral.
Thread
and all of a sudden, I'm just saying, and all of a sudden, this whole bandwagon on this person, when this person could have easily just, could have been a phone call and said, you know what you did yesterday? That was a bit mad, you know, bro. Like, you need to check yourself. And it won't happen again. But when you do that, on top of the whole bandwagon. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
Me personally, I just don't think it's fair. I think
And that depends if you know the person, though, because a lot of the time I think when people, one thing I've tried to be so conscious of now is like, you know, when everyone's dunking on someone, like just not adding my 2 pence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas back in the day, like before I had a platform or whatever, then I would be like, yeah, running my mouth before whatever. And sometimes I look at my old tweets and I was like, God, I was so mean. Do you know what I mean? But as I grow more of a platform and I become more of a target, because I do become a target online, like I'm so much more conscious about how I operate online. And like you said, if one of my friends or whatever says something crazy, if I say something crazy, I have friends who will DM me being like, delete this, or being like, what is this?
That's what I'm saying.
What is this thing?
But it's a DM.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like not everyone, I guess, has people like that.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because I think when I've gone through like a cancellation online or when people have been dragging me online, there are people that I would think are my friends who would like join in with it. And it's like you would expect that sort of person to DM you and be like, this is crazy, but they'll be on the TL making jokes. And it's like, this is mental.
That goes back to what you said about insecurity.
Yeah.
That's when you realise, right, this person ain't reading my bridging.
Nah.
Yeah.
Because you're jumping on that. Like, so, cause imagine you've set up this sit down, but imagine I had tweets where I was cancelling her. Because I didn't know remember, I didn't know she was coming until I got downstairs.
Yeah.
So imagine I sat down and she walked up like, oh, snap.
You'd have been like, oh yeah, it's cracking now.
Something like,
remember that shit you said?
People forget that sometimes you get into these kind of situations. And also for me, because I've been doing business for such a long time, it doesn't look good. From a business perspective, if I want to work with you, but every time something goes wrong, you go to the timeline, I'm not going to want to work with you. Because me and you could have a little thing where I paid my invoice one day late. Oh my God, Tazer's bad business, man. Look. And you're exaggerating. Yeah, you're exaggerating. These times I just didn't have my phone that day.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't think people think about that until they get into the space and they're like she said, you're like, oh, you know what? I'm becoming that person that people, you know what? Let me, and it happens. But again, we've given her the grace to grow. She was one person before.
Yeah, but do you know what? Yeah, a lot of it is about like resilience. Because I feel like people could have experienced like the online onslaught I've experienced and then they log off and they never log on again. There have been people who have been through it and that was the last day you ever saw them online.
You post some on the curb for those people.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Stormzy came off Twitter.
Because it happens. But it's like I was like raised on the internet. Like I've been online so long that I just exist online now. Like I don't know what could happen to me that could be so bad that would make me never log on again. But it's like I've been through some crazy stuff online and I'm still there, but all I know is the internet. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like if you come from a generation of people, like if you come from the Habba Hotel generation, you can survive anything.
They used to be mad in
If you come from the Habba Hotel generation, I don't know if you guys done this as well. Did you have Pixo?
Yeah, I had Pixo.
The Pixo generation. If you come from there, remember we had the guest rooms, or your guest books, and a random person could just write a comment on there.
And it'll trigger you.
And it will be so tricky. This person's butters and
that must be the whole day, bro.
You said,
but I feel like we consume too much information though, because now I could just go to the shop and buy Fairy Liquid.
Yeah.
Now I got to figure out if the CEO's a cool guy. I got to figure out if he hasn't done it. Has he got any priors? I don't know. I've got to do my research first because I could be seen by, oh my God, you bought Fairy Liquid.
You support him.
I just want to wash my dishes.
That's all I want to do is just wash.
In a way, it's good though, because now I think whenever I want to buy something, even if it's an article of clothing, I'm like, can I get it black owned? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think being online has made me so much more self-aware of my shopping habits and so much more conscious of how I shop as well. Like, is this brand sustainable? Is there a sustainable alternative to X, to Y, to Z? I definitely feel like in some ways, like I am a better person because of the knowledge I've consumed, because now I feel like a lot of my choices are so much more informed. Like, of course, there are things that are just convenient, like buying, your Fairy Liquid or whatever. But sometimes when I can swap something out for something that is more sustainable, something that's black owned, I will. And I think a lot of the online, I guess, pressure has made me want to do that.
But would you call out your best friend if they didn't?
Buy black owned?
Buy black owned or something that was sustainable?
No, I wouldn't. I don't think that's that much of a deal. But I think just for me personally, I've definitely been influenced to shop consciously.
I had a friend who, this is funny. So she started getting onto me about water bottles. I think I snapped my fridge. I had a lot of water bottles, Evian water bottles. Okay, so she was like, these are all plastic. The what's like save the world, blah blah. So I said to her, hold on a second. You've DM'd me. What phone are you using? She goes iPhone. I said, do you care about the kids in Congo?
Yep. Talk about it.
Oh, no, I'm waiting for a reply.
Do you pay this water bill? Do you pay this bill?
Because there's a particular component that these kids are being, do you know what I mean?
That's a fact.
They're exploited. So, but you could have a do you know what I mean? But you're not thinking about that.
I think that person was just bored respectfully.
But it happens. This is what I'm saying. It happens.
I think it comes out of this pure boredom, and you haven't given them excuse for them to get angry at you, so they're just going to use the water bottles as a prime example.
Saw the fridge and said, wouldn't it be better if you invested
but
in
that? You should get water.
Yeah, I know.
But do you know why? Yeah, there's something really interesting.
Taser, I was on your side, but don't worry, I got you.
That is annoying. I hate, and especially on Instagram, as I've grown an Instagram following, unsolicited messages are sometimes some like advice. It's sometimes some of the worst stuff I can get. I'm not even asking for advice. You're telling me you should really buy this, or you should really get this, or it's really irritating.
Tell them buy it
but at the same time,
buy it for me.
Like on that water point though, one thing I always kind of explain to people is that like my parents or even my grandparents, like they come from the Caribbean, and a lot of the the plumbing or the water systems are not always sanitary. Like you can't drink tap water. Like when I go to Dominica, I can't drink tap water. So we buy loads of bottled water, and then as our parents and grandparents move to this country, they carry the same attitudes. Like they buy, like my grandma has tons and tons of water bottles under the stairs, and even though you can drink water in this country, it's what you learn. And so then I started to buy loads and loads of water bottles because it's just what we all did. But understanding why we did that and understanding that actually I don't need to do that was like a learning moment for me. So that would have been a lot more helpful than being like, why are you drinking plastic bottles? Because sometimes these behaviors are learned more than they're people intentionally being wasteful.
She added context, and I appreciate that.
Exactly.
In my DMs, I don't know you. That's what I'm trying to make. You're not going to make an impact based on as an anonymous person.
Yeah.
At least if you said, by the way, or there's even certain ways. Some guys have come in my DMs and be like, oh, shut up, man. I'm like, excuse me, I got time today. And they're like, oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. I just really wanted your attention. Pick up 3 shots. I'm like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, but I don't get it because it's not something that I would do. That's all. Like, maybe that's what it is.
Not
I
everyone
don't know.
has the same etiquette to end up the same.
Yeah.
I get it to some extent. I mean, big up them first and foremost. One key thing that we spoke about earlier, another word that you mentioned was the bullying side of things, of online. So does cancel culture and bullying work hand in hand with each other to some extent? Because prime example is this. I don't know if it's now or whether it was last month, but it was like Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that people were saying was to be cautious and careful of your etiquette online and how you address people online. There's that on that hand. And then it's the same hand of if I was to again tweet, I don't like white socks, there's a whole community that are ridiculing me. They're probably going through media to say, yeah, look at you, you was wearing white socks this day, you prick, and da-da-da-da-da. And then, as you said, going to the extent of even trying to ridicule family members and people you're associated with. Doesn't that work as bullying as well? In that sense,
I think it's different. I don't know. I think like if people, it's weird. I think the term bullying as well, like I think it is also another term that feels quite like politicized, because when it's like people like, you know, I don't know, middle-class white women writing articles that are like derogatory and rude or whatever, like I don't know if they will be called bullies in the way that a black woman calling them out will be called a bully. Do you know what I mean? Like that's when it's bullying. Why are you bullying this woman? But actually she wrote something that was, you know, defamatory of black women. So why would I not call her out? And so I think like it's a weird one. Sometimes I think looking at the context provides a lot of reasoning as to why someone is always the aggressor and someone is the victim. And I think particularly online, like white women are often the victims of black women, but actually it's because you've antagonized or you've come after. Do you know what I mean? You've purposefully done that, and now you're rightly being called out about what you said. And now all of a sudden you're being bullied, and that's the same. And that sort of stuff happens in workplaces. It happens, and we see it happen online as well. And so in that case, I'm like, just because they're saying I'm being bullied, are they actually being bullied? Do you know what I mean? Or are they just being called out for something wrong that they've said?
I remember there was a saying that was said by a great scholar that's known as Lucas from Backchat, who said, "If I start slapping people now, they'll say I'm mad." I'm mad. I think some people just push you to a stage where they want that reaction, to be fair. I mean, a prime example being this. We've seen, is it the Daily Mail?
Yeah.
And there are 101 articles, of that. This is just straight up, they've got an agenda.
Yeah.
Against black people as a whole. We keep on reacting to it over and over and over again. Now, if you see that person who wrote it and respectfully, you slap him, they'll say you're moving mad. But to some extent, you've been pushed to such a corner where they keep on putting this agenda against you all the time. Like, how are you meant to react? If I now say this is online bullying, it's either taken as two sides. Whether you agree with me or you say to me, it's not that deep. You can just log off if you wanted to. And I feel like
that person shouldn't be allowed to do what they're doing though. And that's the problem. It's like, I don't know if you lot have heard of a few influencers, a few people in our scene have spoken about. There's this Turkish girl who abuses everyone.
Oh, I've heard of this.
I don't want to say her name because she's recently been arrested, but she just abuses everyone. Just sends everyone harmful, hateful DMs. She sent it to me a couple of times as well. Yeah.
Is she like a
normal girl from South London? She's from South. When she got drawn out by some guy, caught her in a Costa in South. Yeah. Pulled up on her, filmed it, everything.
Yeah.
When she got drawn out, everyone was like, "Oh, but you shouldn't be filming." Do you know how many people's lives she's harmed? But this, she's got like a multitude of phones just abusing people. You block one, she sets up a new account. I don't know how she's doing it. But one woman went to the police. Do you know what they said to the woman? Just deactivate your Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, she can't get to you. That's what the police said to her. I'm not on Instagram, and I shouldn't be on Instagram and receiving abuse.
Exactly.
Ian Wright said it. Ian Wright's got I watched one of his podcasts with Harry and Henry.
Yeah.
He said it. He said like certain things. I'm getting online abuse.
Yeah.
The kid's like 14 years old.
Yeah.
But he's got the confidence to message me like serious abuse and nothing's gonna happen to him.
Yeah.
It's like it's not fair.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And a lot of people are aware of this and they know this because they think they could do kiki. But if I see you in person, and like Lucas said, and I beat you up, I'm the mad one.
Nah, I'm mad. Hey, listen, that's a parable for the day, man. I can't lie to you.
And it's so crazy because Ian Wright is literally the nicest, most non-harmful, non-problematic, non-political person ever. Yet the abuse he gets is wild. And I guess just like footballers in general, like I guess seeing some of the tweets, I don't know anything about the sport, so don't ask me anything, but seeing the abuse that is thrown at footballers from fans, from journalists, from pundits, it's harrowing.
It's mad because yesterday it was obviously the Europa League final, and when there was the penalty shootout, do you know what was the first thing that came to mind? Please don't let a black guy miss.
But I was gonna tweet, but I said I don't want to be I don't want to invite negativity.
Yeah.
But I literally said, if Rashford misses a pen, the racism that's going to fly on this TL is going to be crazy.
Yep.
Like, and the funny thing, do you know what's so scary?
Yeah.
They know that.
Yeah.
As football players, they know that. So they have that pressure as well.
Absolute madness.
Because he tweeted, he said something about he got
a mad amount of abuse regardless. Yeah. They still
it wasn't him that missed the penalty, but they lost. And I think he said something about 70 comments, racial slurs.
Yeah, I did see that.
And there's nothing anything's gonna happen to these guys who posted these comments.
I mean, I'm not even a Man United fan, but still, I was just thinking, please don't let Rashford miss. Please don't let a black person miss, because you know straight away. I think in that football world, it's just a madness anyway. To be fair with you. Absolute
I don't know how you football fans do it, because the way these white fans are,
I've never been to a stadium.
It's mad,
game.
You know?
Yeah, I've never been, so I don't know it.
I could give you an example. I remember I went to university in Stoke-on-Trent.
What?
I went OT.
But why there?
You know why? It's because the first uni I went to was a madness.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Stoke-on-Trent?
Yeah, I had to. One for my course, and also, man, I went Luton before.
Oh, yeah.
So you know I had to go OT.
Large up boot court.
Yeah. What's wrong with Luton?
What?
Yo.
What's right with Luton?
What year was you around?
Luton, but I heard stories.
I went there 2010. So that was when pretty much like 70% of South London went.
Yeah, I heard stories.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
I had stories. Luton, yeah.
Shout out Boots Court. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But so I went there once to watch Arsenal versus Stoke. Right. I'm in the Stoke end. Obviously, I can't celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hearing certain comments that they're making. I'm like, my brother, you know I'm right here and I can hear everything you're saying. Oh, it's all right, mate. Don't worry. It's not you. I'm like, dog, that makes it worse. Don't make it better. And I just feel like the football or the sport world and community, man, racism is crazy. It is crazy. And it's like you just have to, sadly, just kind of used to it.
Do you know how many people were vexed when everyone started taking a knee?
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, I remember that.
Yeah. Why do you need to do this? Down to what was the old school campaign? Kick racism out.
Yeah, show racism the red card. One of them.
All of that. Why do we need to be doing this for? I'm like, yo, it's not removing any money from your pocket.
This is the thing.
Not consuming more time from you, but yet it's an issue. Yeah, the sport world's mad still.
And it's like the rest of society has moved on, but it's like in sports, some of the stuff that happens, like them throwing bananas at players on the court, that was happening like last year.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's one where what football team was it? No,
Chelsea.
Nah, is it Slavia Prague?
Slavia Prague.
Was it Slavia Prague?
Yeah,
and the striker's black.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do anything because it's like he lives there.
Yeah.
They've gone over there. The racism is mad.
It's mad.
And then everyone's looking at the black guy like, brother, you live here.
Yeah.
He's ignored it.
There was a few games where players just walked off. They said, "This is too much. Like, you lot are just disrespecting me this much. I'm off. I'm out of here."
Yeah, one of the guys, I think it was a Valencia match. It's a midfielder. The guy he was playing said negro.
Yes.
So he took offense to it. He said, "No, I'm not playing anymore." He's walked off. The whole team's come off. Then the reason why I knew this guy was guilty is because when he went to go speak to the manager, he covered his mouth when he was speaking.
Yeah.
He didn't want to, the cameras to be able to lip read. I said, yeah, this guy's guilty. Anyway, his team went in, they supported him, but then they were like, listen, are you going to forfeit the game or what?
Yeah.
These players came back out and continued the game. Just left him in the change room.
Yeah. It's mad.
There's a lot of pressure, man. Like, they know what they're doing is wrong, but if a man's saying, listen, you're going to lose your wages for the next 2 weeks, you're looking at me like, brother.
Big man bills have to get paid,
That's like, for things to change, honestly, someone like Harry Kane's got to be the one to be like, you man, we're going off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If Raheem does it, everyone look at Raheem like, all right, cool. Hey, bring on Madison. Like, but if someone like Harry Kane walks off and it's like Harry Kane and the main players walk off, then it's like, okay, cool.
Exactly that.
People start looking at themselves and thinking, all right, what we're doing is wrong. But it's still a bit, a little armband and a little, it's not enough. It's not enough.
Does cancellation happen in the sports world? I don't think so, because you can get tested positive for doping and stuff like that and people will still mess with you.
I think of who's that caster Semenya,
She wasn't really cancelled though, was she?
I mean, she wasn't really cancelled, but they did make a big deal about her.
Deal of her.
And is she even allowed to play? Because I feel like there was like a ruling against her that she couldn't take part in the races or had to give back her medals or whatever. And
what did she do again?
They said that basically she was dope tested quite a few times, but because the amount of the testosterone levels that she gave off wasn't the normal average amount for a woman.
Yeah, so she wasn't doping.
She wasn't doping.
No.
She just had more testosterone than usual.
Yeah.
Can't cancel you for
and
that.
they tried to take her medals away.
I feel like they did. I will definitely go and Google it and check, but I definitely feel like they did, and it was a huge thing.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because a lot of like incredible athletes, there is something about them that is different. They have long hands or long legs or whatever. Like something about them is different. And you can't just say, oh, in order for you to be an athlete, you need to be like this tall with this. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't work like that.
That's like Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, his lung capacity is greater than the average. His torso is built as a perfect swimmer.
Yeah.
And his hands and feet are massive. So for him, he's just built like a swimmer.
This guy was caught smoking weed. Michael Phelps was caught smoking weed.
So some people are literally just
different rules for
built
different
for the game, and it's like
and you never penalize them for that, but for this they did. And I remember it was like women who were coming 8th place were complaining, like you weren't even scraping the barrel of first. Like, why are you mad?
He wasn't gonna win anyway.
It's just funny you say that. Yeah. So you know that guy. I never expected it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out my uncle.
So I watched one of his interviews, and the commentator was like, "How do you?" Because he came second in one of the races behind Usain Bolt.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but wait. The commentator was like, "How does it feel finishing 4 seconds behind Usain Bolt, brother? Do you know how long 4 seconds is in a sprint?
Yeah,
that's very long.
You didn't
stand a chance. You didn't stand a chance.
You were nowhere near Usain, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I feel fulfilled."
My uncle.
You were not gonna beat Usain Bolt finishing 4 seconds behind, man.
Yeah.
But that's like 9 seconds to 14 seconds.
Yeah, facts.
You're nowhere near him. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I saw that the other day. I was dying.
Shout out my uncle, man. Do you know what's another one as well? Was so funny. It shows you that cancellation. and like, funny enough, now we're talking about drugs and that. Remember the Canadian mayor who was caught smoking crack?
No.
Yeah, there was a Canadian mayor. he was in party twice. He was voted.
No, but when you say crack, as in
He was in
Like,
motels with hookers smoking crack.
wow.
Smoking crack,
living.
bro.
Right, not even cocaine.
No, crack.
Crack.
They filmed him with all sorts. He had his tie untied, top button undone, face all red, smoking crack. And you know what they said? They said, now he's in party, things are getting done well. So they re-voted him again.
Well, it's the same when you look at like cannabis and how many, particularly in the States, like African American men have been thrown into prison because of weed. And now every single white hipster yuppie has some sort of weed infused, I don't know, nail varnish or whatever that soothes your soul. Or they have their own dispensary that is like vegan and cruelty free and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all of those people are still in prison, still serving time at the hands of a really unfair justice system, ripped away from their families, and you can wear a weed t-shirt that's made from weed. Do you know what I mean? It is so crazy. And like, that's the whole thing. It's like cancellation and capitalism, like they're not too far apart from each other.
Right,
it's like, as soon as it's socially acceptable for someone to capitalize off something, as soon as you can make money from something in a way that is controlled, in a way where the state can gain money and billionaires can gain money, then it's okay. But before then, when other people couldn't control these things, people had to go to jail. And like, it's mad. And even when you think about drugs in the context of the UK, okay, not to generalize it, but even if you think of coke and like going to uni, going to UOB, like the white people were coke heads, and these people.
I'm not saying yes or no, but you know,
it was crazy. And I was
shout out some of y'all.
I was not a part of that world, innit? But it happened, and I saw it, and they were so fearless and carefree about it. And then when I look at the news, or I think about this government sort of like war on drugs, or the way this government approaches drugs, and I'm like, you're stopping and searching all these people to pick up these, you know, these tiny joints or whatever,
and the 8-ball.
But the white girls are carrying 9 kilograms of coke, and they're doing it in the bathroom.
People like Pablo Escobar.
And they're having the time of their life. I remember
14 bricks right there.
At uni, I was like, some girl, she was driving us home from cheerleading, and she was like, oh, I left £50 worth of coke on the bus. I was like, wait, what? Like, huh?
She's spending her
Do you know
shit
what I
on
mean?
load on.
She just didn't care.
Profit margin's mad. £50.
Coke and Jaeger bombs. Shout out her, bro. She was trying to live her life.
But like, for you to be that careless and you just don't care, and you don't fear it, you don't feel the fear of the law or anything. It's just mental.
But someone, I think it was, I can't remember who said it, who I was talking to, but it's just something that we just notice, and it's not. I don't know if I want to say it's a bad thing, but it's just something you just notice, right? So, have you ever been driving, and let's say it's someone who's black, or maybe Eastern European or whatever, they jump out in the road. There's a sense of fear. Like, oh, sorry. Let a white person cross your car. They're looking at you like you're the problem. They have no fear. They cross the road. They don't look left and right. It's like, you're not troubling me.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it. They just don't fear. So like her leaving £50 worth of coke on the bus, no, whatever.
That's what it is.
But if I have a spliff and I see a police officer, I'm rattled.
It's even like little things as when you're driving and you know you're fully insured.
You're still rattled on police officer.
You're still scared. Till this day.
Do you know why? It's because when you think about legality, you think about carcerality, like these things, they feel so permanent. You think of the law and you think like the law is the word and this is it. But actually the law ebbs and flows depending on whiteness. Do you know what I mean? Like when David Lammy did the report into convictions, and it's like a white person and a black person will be convicted for the same thing, but the white person will get a shorter sentence, or the white person will even be convicted. Like so much of what we know to be true and righteous as the law in this country is far from that, which is why there is so much of a fear, particularly amongst black people and black communities, when it comes to police and the criminal justice system, because we just know we're gonna get it 20 times worse than if you were white. 100%. Like, and so And
a prime example of that again was the Canadian mayor that was smoking crack.
I think crack, not even like he was doing cocaine.
Smoking crack.
And if you think of the crack epidemic as well, like how many people were sent to jail because of that, and all of that was fueled by literally the US government.
I think it's mad.
Shout out Franklin Saint though.
Talk that shit.
Snowfall.
Talk that snowfall shit. I think another funny one is there's an American doctor, and he casually uses heroin.
What's going on?
Is that the guy that was in that documentary?
I think there was a documentary.
And he has dreads.
Yes, and also he had yes.
Yeah.
And his dreads actually look pretty good as well. He hasn't got the Lil Wayne dreads where it looks like one.
Wait, but when you say he casually uses heroin, as in like he's still normal.
Casually and heroin in the same
Yeah,
sentence.
what is he still a functioning man?
Every weekend,
Yeah. He's in this documentary. He's just giving the facts. He's talking about the crack epidemic in America. He's a doctor. He's like a doctor, isn't he? Like, he's not like a medical doctor.
Fully
He's like
qualified
a
doctor.
humanities
No, I know,
doctor.
but what I'm saying is, so that means that he's managed to kind of like manage his addiction, because from what I know, heroin isn't a drug that you can use casually.
Yeah.
Once you're hooked, that's it. You're now selling your kids for.
You're selling your kids. You're on Jeremy Kyle with 2 teeth.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're saying
Like,
he's
all
still
sorts.
living a functioning life, like he's cool, going shops, everything. Then maybe there's something that we don't know.
But you know what? But
he's having good bush.
this is the thing about drugs, though. Like, there is so much. There's so much stigma, I think, attached to drugs, and I think it's just because of how we kind of treat people who are drug addicts, how we treat people who sell drugs, all of the stuff that makes, I guess, drugs being illegal means that people they don't know what they're taking, they don't have anyone to turn to. Even if they do have an addiction, you don't want to go and say I have an addiction because you don't want to be thrown into jail. Like, I think if we lived in a society, like, I personally am all for decriminalizing drugs and essentially having education around drugs and letting people know this is a safe way to use it, having them being regulated so you know exactly what it is that you're taking. Like, that's why drugs ruin people's lives, because of the legal factor to it, because you have to use it in secret, because you can be sold nonsense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think when you decriminalize drugs, where drugs are legal, where you have a society where you can regulate them and they can be provided to people safely, they can be managed, they can be prescribed, I just don't think you'd be dealing with any of those problems at all.
But then who's going to make money though?
Anyone can make money from it, like the same way they're making money with the weed
I feel like
dispensaries.
the state does.
That's the problem.
That's exactly it.
That's the problem.
That's
What,
why
because you'd pay taxes because it'd be a product?
it's like this. A prime example being, like, you know how marijuana has been legalized in a lot of states in America. That your dispensers, they've now affected your local corner boy or your local shop from around the way, where they've complained about it, saying that anything that I would sell, like if it was a 20 bag, has now been sold in these shops for probably £35, the cheapest, something along those lines. And it's like, I was getting arrested for this, and now this is legalized, and if anything, it's been taxed on as well. So I say that to say this: as much as you may try to have it within moderation, it's like, yeah, but to who's, like, the state benefits from this, and it's a bit shit. To be
But
fair.
if the state benefits from it, and the money that they get from taxing drugs, they invest into rehabilitation centers or whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see why it's bad that the state gets money from it.
Yeah,
That's
hypothetical.
If they did that,
in a nice.
we pay taxes. I drove past the pothole on the way here. I'm just saying, like, we all pay taxes, but yet there's still like potholes, and it doesn't make sense for me. But we know, we can read between the lines and we can see what's going on here. So, because even in Amsterdam, there's still men that are on the corner selling weed, even though you can go to a lot.
Really?
Yeah, because the weed's different.
Okay.
The weed's different.
Yeah.
Remember, it's like the commercial.
Oh yeah.
Weed, and then you got the actual. Listen, I ain't taking none of this. I ain't taking nothing out of this. If anything, I've added for you. Do you want this? So it's one of them ones. So I don't know. In America, it's sad though. I can't be sitting in jail for a crime that essentially white people are doing out of a shop. Come on, man.
A store front. You know?
Like
a store.
I remember even the other day getting like a magazine from like a CBD company or whatever, and it was just like really interesting to see all of these articles written by predominantly white writers about weed, and interviewing this white woman about her weed farm and all this stuff. And it was like uncomfortable just like flicking through this, knowing how many people have had their lives completely upturned because you know they've been thrown into jail because
this
of
whole
it.
CBD hustle, because they've removed the THC from the cannabinoid or whatever it's called. I see CBD oil sold. There's so many different companies.
They have CBD. I've got CBD eye cream.
What?
Yeah, they have CBD skincare products.
Yeah, but
I didn't buy it. I was gifted it.
Have you been tempted to use it?
Yeah, but it doesn't get you high or anything. It's just like, it's just got all of these properties or whatever.
Yeah,
Also, CBD gummies help you sleep.
yeah, they've removed the THC, which is what gets you high.
Okay.
So the other properties of it that's good for your body apparently is what they've left in there, and they've called it CBD, and they put it in. Yeah, she's right. Everything. Smoothie, eye cream, gummies. I have a lavender oil that I got sent the other day where you just rub it on your arm. CBD oil.
And does it make you? What does it do? Does it make
Relaxes
you fall asleep? Did it relax you?
I can't lie, it works still. I had a good sleep. I can't lie, yeah. I just didn't get high. I don't have that high feeling.
Okay.
Where you get that relaxed feeling.
Is it a thing of you start doing that, you come immune to it, and the next minute you end up like the Canadian mayor who's in the motels smoking crack?
You gotta leave this man alone, you know.
I'm still rattled
on his
about
name.
He was voted twice. That's crazy.
But do you have that fear that if you ever tried something,
Yes.
Do you want to do crack? Is
Chase
that what
that
it
high.
is?
Nah.
And you
know,
just
there's only one thing that I've been contemplating to try
Crack.
once. No. Lean.
Huh?
What?
Lean.
Oh, Cowpole and Sprite.
That doesn't even tickle my fantasy.
You know the reason why though? That was
Who wants to be drinking cough
I was
syrup?
thinking me. Because like, okay, shout out to you, man. I'm not gonna snitch on who you are, but there's a few people I used to chill with that used to drink lean before.
Why did they call it lean? It's literally Cowpole.
No, it actually was.
I think it was
in
Lil Wayne.
Portland.
Lil Wayne started, didn't it?
Yeah,
No,
cool.
Pimp C.
Well, it was like Southern culture,
Yeah, Southern
like
culture,
Houston
yeah.
culture,
Oh, okay.
of where they have promethazine mixed with codeine,
Yeah.
with Sprite.
Have you had codeine before?
Isn't that painkiller?
Yeah, but have you
I
had
feel
it
like
before?
I've had
like
it
a
before
syrup.
when I had like really bad tonsillitis. I was in hospital.
Yeah.
And they had to give it to me because I was literally dying.
You see if you've got a mad.
How did you feel after?
Yeah.
Just like relaxed.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine drinking it, just sipping on that.
sipping it casually.
You feel mad.
Yeah.
So once I went to the studio, the guy was sleeping.
It was like this.
I said, "Yo, you man, is he alright?" He said, "Oh, he just had some of the lean." I said, "The position he was in." I said, "Yeah."
His body was a
Keep that
parallelogram.
away
He was
from me.
doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Keep that away from me.
Wait, why do people drink it when they're out then if it makes you tired? That feels like a nighttime drink.
they were in a house chilling, so like everyone was like doing whatever, and I was literally just watching them all one by one, like heads were all tilting and whatnot. And I was like, I don't want to try that because I know I'll be the one idiot that you'll hear the maddest thing happen to.
Yeah, that's how I think about a lot of things.
You feel me? I don't want to be that one idiot. That's why I don't do balloons. I don't do like
I got
pills
spiked
or
once
anything.
with Molly. Funny enough, you know the person who spiked me as well.
Do I?
I'll tell you.
Yeah. Oh.
But I wasn't vexed. I wasn't vexed. It was just I didn't know what it was. That's what threw me off. Like,
What were you like?
apparently,
You just feel like really like.
apparently I was very loud, and I felt because the guys that I roll with them regular for about the past 5-6 years. Yeah. And they were like, "Bruv, you're bare loud. When you're drunk, you're not loud. Like, are you sure you're drunk?" I'm saying, "Yeah, I've only drank. Like, what's wrong with the man?
Was
Why
you
is
shouting?
why is the man them getting on to me like, loud me,
yeah.
man?" They're like, "Nah, man, you're very like." So I'm like, "Alright, cool, forget you lot." So I just walked off and did my own thing. Then when I got home, back to the apartment because we was on a festival, a lad's holiday. When I got home, I put my head down and these lot were getting ready to go out again. I'm like, give me a minute. But when they woke me up, my eyes were red. They're like, "Bro, you alright? What did you drink?" I said, "Brother, I just drank the normal stuff." Anyway, I said, "I'll meet you lot in the club. You lot go. Don't wait for me." I fell asleep about 11. I didn't wake up till 5 in the morning. I missed the whole function. When I woke up, I said, and then I literally was throwing up and shitting at the same time.
Oh no!
I was gone. Remember, I don't know what's happened to me. I'm thinking it's alcohol.
Yeah.
The next day, I've messaged all my friends like, "Yo, you man, I was gone." Then this girl, "Oh yeah, I put something in your."
She treated you like Rick Ross.
Fam.
I put Marley in his champagne. He didn't even know it.
Yeah, she put Molly in my drink.
I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. Nah, man, you're a prick for doing that still.
You say that when I bring it up to her, she's just laughing.
Yeah.
Because like, you didn't die though. I'm like, nah, man.
Tough, right?
Was this a long time ago?
Nah, I wouldn't say a long time. Like probably 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Why did you call the police?
Oh, it's my bridging. Nothing happened to me, so it's calm.
It's not snitching, man. You know where we come from.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do it.
Still, that's crazy though.
Yeah, it was
God.
mad. And also, I've actually been out as well with a few of my people, and they've like my birthday, and they've gone like, next round's on me, and I've seen a man go to the bar, order beer drinks, look at my cup, and do this.
You said, no, big man, drink
No,
that
no, I
one.
didn't
Why
say
are your
anything.
friends doing this to
I didn't say
you?
anything. And he came over and handed it to me. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what you put in there.
Are your friends really your
Now,
friends?
some people party and just do too much.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, I'm not, I don't want that. Like,
Yeah.
you know what
When
I
I go out, it's just alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I'm just like anything else I have to do in a controlled environment. There's incense, there's calm music. Do you know what I mean? Like
Sage.
I'm not trying to be out
Sage
on the
stinks,
town.
Really?
It stinks. Have you never had smell it?
I have.
Yeah, but you're supposed to use it
smell
just
nice.
clear the air. You're not supposed to be burning it every day. Do you know
Think
what I
of
mean?
bad vibes, Taser. That's why.
Like if you move into a new house or if you go to a like hotel room, you just want to clear out the
you just
bad
wanna clear
energy.
it out,
You don't know who was there before you, and then you just
Hotel room, you know, pack sage.
Exactly.
I'm gonna pack sage when I go to
sage
Lisbon.
to a hotel
My
room.
apartment when I go to Lisbon, I'm gonna sage that whole place.
there
I don't
for
know
a
what
month.
demons were there before me.
Are you going thing? Afro Nation?
I might go because I'm gonna be in Portugal
That's what I
anyway.
was
So I'm
thinking.
like,
Go
do you know
there,
what? I
man.
should just do a day trip to Porto and just
Go shake a leg.
Yeah, I might. I'll see who's going.
Guys, thank you so much. How can everyone stay in contact with you, most importantly, with everything you got going on?
Twitter and Instagram, Chanté J. Just follow all the things.
Don't send abuse as well, please.
Yeah,
Respect.
I get enough of that, please. I'm so tired. I'm always so scared to check my message requests because I don't know what 15-year-old white boy is calling me every name under the sun. I just don't know.
I should do a service that you can hire like the man them to end up beating up trolls.
I was thinking like there needs to be a show like Catfish where you meet your trolls because there's so many of my trolls I would love to meet. Like if we just meet in Hyde Park and we just fight, I don't know, let's just do it.
But that's the thing. They're going to meet you and they're going to be like, oh, it's not that. You're actually a nice person. It's just... But yeah, for me, just Tazer Black on everything. Tazer Black on Twitter, Tazer Black on Instagram, and yeah, those are the main two that I use anyway.
Sick. Thank you. Another sick episode of No Cappin.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.